because my whole message will probably be shorter than that introduction, which was very nice. I appreciate it. I want to welcome everybody to Charleston. Let me just say, how many have been in Charleston before? Well, it looks like about half of the group. Okay. Well, it's a nice place. I think Charleston just won yet another award. It's always winning awards for the #1 tourist destination in the United States, #1 tourist destination in the world. And now it's starting to happen to Greenville, which is upstate. And it really is a remarkable place. I hope that all of you that live here will keep on doing that and deeply appreciate what we have. And those who are visiting, I hope you can come back to see us. I need to tell you a funny little story. My wife and I, Peggy, celebrated our 41st wedding anniversary last week. And I was talking to a fellow about long marriages like that, successful marriages. And he says, yeah, my wife and I said, we found the secret to a long, happy marriage. So what is it? He says, well, every week, two nights a week, every week, we go out, we find a nice supper club, a nice restaurant, and go out to dinner. He says, I go on Tuesday and she goes on Thursday. There's always some way to make things better. But very briefly, and I do appreciate that introduction, man, and by having been in a number of different places, as possibly you have as well, and been in a position to see things, sometimes from, as they say, 30,000 feet, you see how pieces fit together, and you see what's important, how things work together to make things work. And I think that we've discovered the formula here in South Carolina, because we've completely integrated all of the institutions of higher learning, secondary education, everything. We have the best technical college system in the United States, according to Wilbur Ross, the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. The one here in Charleston is superb. As you know, we work with a variety of industries, but the aerospace and automotive is right at the top of the list. I didn't realize till I got in this position and started doing some studying. We have something like 120 Japanese companies in South Carolina, about 160 German companies in South Carolina, and a lot of big American companies in South Carolina. But what it means to me is there's something about South Carolina, or something about our people, something about the way we're doing things that's working. And I think that it is called, what I believe is collaboration, coordination, and communication. And one thing that makes us so different is people say we're all related to each other one way or another, or know each other. We're about 5 million people, but we seem to operate very well as a group. That is, if you need something done or you want to speak to someone on a certain thing, it's easy to put it together because we know each other so well. And Senator Lindsey Graham says it this way. He says when he was a young lawyer up in Oconee County, which is fairly rural, he said he'd get a lot of very basic sort of questions from the clientele up there. They'd come in and ask him. But a lot of times he'd get one similar to this, and it was, Lawyer Graham, if we are married in South Carolina and divorced in Georgia, are we still cousins? That's a reflection of the fact that we, in this state, we seem to stick together better than they do in a lot of others. And it's because many of us are related or have close friends. Just one degree separates us. But here's the key. Here's what I think really makes it work. It's that collaboration between the research universities, the technical colleges, and now we're getting it down into the high schools. I believe that the brain power that exists here in South Carolina is second to none anywhere, because it is amplified and magnified by the integration of all these brains and all these institutions that are doing innovative things with using the understanding of the folks that have experienced and have been around, and the young students who are eager, and I mean eager to learn. We have the best technical college system in the country, as I mentioned, and it's because, one reason, we started in 1961, and we now have 16 institutions. But also, over those years, we have not fallen into the trap that others have fallen into around the country, which is to tend to make the technical colleges, or the trade schools, they used to be called, some of them before they got so sophisticated, but they've gone into turning them into 2-year universities, to make them like a 4-year degree, but only 2 years studying a lot of the same sorts of things. It turns out that was an error. And I don't know if we saw it coming or we just did it the right way, but we kept to what we were doing and kept it a technical college system. Now, technology today has advanced out of sight from what it was 30 years ago. And we've undergone a cultural awareness. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, even more than that, particularly when men were coming back from World War II, everybody wanted a college, wanted a 4-year degree, wanted a 4-year, go to college, got to go to college. Dear son, I want a 4-year college degree. Now let me down to sleep, I want a 4-year college degree. Everything was centered around a 4-year college degree. Well, as you well know, from the work that you do, the world's changed. And you do not need a 4-year college degree. You have a liberal arts degree. Well, I took history in college. I loved it, but that doesn't apply to many things that people are doing. Right? It applies to what I like to do because I'm doing what I'm doing. And it fits that very well. But for most people, just to get a 4-year college degree ends up they walk out the door after the big celebration and they're saying, what's next? Well, the world has changed. And the world of industry, the world of innovation, technology has just changed everything. And there are jobs out there today, meaningful, exciting, difficult work that needs training in these plants that you see all the time that did not exist 30 or 40 years ago. So there's another route to great success and happiness that exists today in the world that didn't exist back then, and that's through the technical college system. So that is an integral link. But we got to get over our cultural obstacle to where you think you have to have that 4-year degree. You can go to a technical college, get a 2-year degree, get a certificate, get a great job, get your family started. If you want to go back, South Carolina, you can do it with USC, University of South Carolina. Has a Palmetto College, you can finish it up online if you want to. It costs almost nothing. But there are ways to finish it if you want to. But in the meantime, if you want to get into this kind of industry, and then so much of the good work there that does not require that 4-year time and expenditure to get that degree, that offers a great life for people. Well, we've realized that. And that's why we're so happy to have the combinations and collaborations that we have in the state. And I'll mention just a couple. Maybe you know this, but up in Clemson University, there's something called the International Center of Automotive Research. I'm sure you all know that. It's been there for a number of years. But what they've done is they've taken it a step farther. They have an advanced manufacturing center there. And I went into it the other day and I couldn't believe what I saw. It's high tech, it's off the scale. It looked like a cross between a battleship and a space station. It was just amazing. And to see the people in there thriving on the kind of intellect, the kind of skill, and the kind of understanding it takes to work in a place, work and learn. And what they're doing at that advanced center for advanced manufacturing is this: they have a combination. You have the professors at Clemson, PhDs, and you have the research and developers from BMW, many of them with advanced degrees, of course, and you have graduate students, and you have undergraduate students, and you have technical college students, all working together, shoulder to shoulder. They wear the same shirts with the logo on it, shoulder to shoulder. The young, excited minds that are open to everything with the experience that shows them how to get there. And what they do is BMW sends over vehicles at different state of construction, maybe without the powertrain, maybe without all the electrical stuff, or whatever, and that group sits there and they work on them to come up with the next new idea. Jim Clement said that's the only place in the United States that has such a combination going on. It's come down to halfway down to Columbia on the corner of Blossom and Assembly Street at the University of South Carolina. There's a building there, a university building, that has the IBM logo. It's right across from the old Coliseum, if you know where that is. You can see it. IBM is quite distinct. Well, that is their National Data Analytics headquarters. They arrived there, I think, about 3 years ago. It's quite a thing. By the way, it's right down the street from the McMaster Center for Aerospace Studies, I think is the name of it, where Boeing is teamed up with USC. I mean, the engineering, the things that are going on there is just fantastic. But I'm just one building. This is an example. This is all in the same place. In this one building, you have the PhDs and all the students there, all the research that's going on from the University of South Carolina, and it is exciting and high-tech, going in every direction at once. But they're joined by whom? They're joined by IBM, that has their National Data Analytics headquarters there. Joined by whom else? By Siemens, which 2 years ago gave $620 million worth of their high-tech, their highest top-of-the-line data analytics software to the university to use for those kinds of things. And what else is there? Samsung is there. Samsung opened a big plant in Newberry just 2 years ago. They are there, and also a robot company from Japan called Yaskawa. Now, ladies and gentlemen, get this picture. They are all working in the same place. They're bumping into each other as they go down the halls. You remember the story about it says Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, is that the one where they had the guy with the peanut butter and the guy with the chocolate? They bumped into each other. That's a good idea. That's precisely what is happening there. And it's happening there just as we speak. In fact, when we were announcing the combination just a few months ago, it turned out, I think it was Dr. Pastides, the president, said, and just yesterday, that man in there and that woman over there went for those two. They bumped into each other in the hall and came up with a solution to something that one of them was working on. Well, that's what we're doing in this day. We have learned that if you break down the barriers, break down the silos, turn people loose, give them the freedom, give them the tools that they need to learn and work and invent things, and cover the whole thing with ample brain power, there's just no telling where we can go. So I want to say to you, those who've been here before, those who would like to be here, and that includes a lot of people. I think there are 50 new people a day moving into Charleston County. I think that's what they told me. The same thing's happening in Greenville. It's remarkable. Anybody from the cold northern states? I was watching the news the other day, and it was 63 degrees. It was a nice, beautiful morning in South Carolina. I turned on the news. Some poor woman was freezing to death, giving the weather report from Minneapolis at 63 degrees below zero. Now, by my calculation, that's 126 degrees difference. Can you imagine? So I say, yeah, we got a lot of people moving into the sunny southern states. But we invite you. This is your invitation. If you want to come, if you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to try something new, with this technology we have, with these terrific companies that we have that you all know about. Most of you, I think, are involved with most of them. This is the place. I think that we've discovered paradise right here in South Carolina. It's been here the whole time, and many of us didn't know it. Now, the Charlestonians will tell you, Charlestonians are very proud. Charlestonians will tell you that the Ashley and the Cooper Rivers meet here to form the Atlantic Ocean. Maybe that's true. I don't know how you prove or disprove, but I know we are proud of this state. We're proud of our people, and people all over the world that I talk to that come here to think about investing hundreds of millions and perhaps billions of dollars, not to mention their jobs, their reputations, and everything else, say that people come to South Carolina for three reasons. People, the people, the people. So the people are different. And if you want to test out, and stop at a convenience store on the way in and out of someplace, and between getting your cup of coffee and giving the lady your money and getting your change, she will call you honey, sweetie, darling, and dear, right there. Test it and see if it's not true. There's something different about this place. Every place has their differences. But there's something about the combination of the people that we have, the history of things we've been through, the institutions that we've built, and this warmth and this connectedness among all of our people that make this a great place to work, live, and do business. And we are delighted that you're all here. And I urge you to take advantage of the nice weather and see as much of this time as you can. Thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you in the future.